Welcome back to another video, guys. So one of the things that people are always wondering about is how well is the Xbox Series S and X doing in terms of specifically the sales of the console. We know that the console sales for Xbox isn't their main strategy here. It's the entire ecosystem side of things. But we did recently hear in the Xbox Activision versus FTC case that they had sacrificed the production of the Xbox Series X. And that was because they were putting more of the Xboxes into the cloud. And it's been a very weird thing when it comes to the supply and the demand for the Xbox Series X. I think the demand is always decently high. It is still there. People are still going out and buying them, but the supply has been off for a while now. And I feel like it's taken even longer to catch up to the demand compared to the PlayStation 5, as the PS5 throughout 2022 had plentiful supply, and they continue to have plentiful supply. And obviously with their strategy, they have to do that because they're locking everything to the console itself. Now, when it comes to the Xbox Series X and S, the Series S was one of those things that they introduced low cost entry. And we've seen numbers where 48% of new people coming over to Xbox have purchased an Xbox Series S. So it actually has been very successful from a statistical and numbers point of view. No matter what you think about whether the console is holding the generation back or that it's hurting game development, all that type of stuff, I don't actually believe that. I think there's far more evidence from games that have come out to show that the Series S is completely fine. You're still getting great experiences on the console. You're still getting AAA games, and at the price, it really can't be beat. Plus, there's also now the 1 terabyte version coming out, so there's going to be that option too. So I don't see it holding back the generation, but some people will still argue that with things like Baldur's Gate 3, where one of the issues right now that they're having with development is with split screen co-op. And they're saying it is because of the Xbox Series S getting it to run properly on that. And we've also seen things with like Halo Infinite and split screen, which just didn't come out on any console. So we don't know why that was. But in overall here, in terms of sales, we look at this and we're seeing recently that it's about 890,000 units ahead of the Xbox One in the same time period. Now, when it comes to, I would say unanimously, people's perception is that is the most successful Xbox console of all time so far has been the Xbox 360. And here is the sales comparison. The Xbox Series S and X is 2.95 million units ahead of the Xbox 360 after 31 months. So right now it is tracking higher than the Xbox 360. And I definitely foresee it selling more overall by the end of this generation. And you could ask, well, the Xbox One, by these measurements, was also ahead of the Xbox 360, but the Xbox One really fell off after the first couple of years, or at least that's what we think, because they stopped reporting numbers. So we actually, I don't believe, know the official end number for the Xbox One, but they stopped reporting console sales from Microsoft during the Xbox One generation. So nobody actually has a firm grasp as to specifically how well these are doing. These are estimates here from VG charts, but the Xbox Series S and X, I think, will be doing better by the Xbox 360 by the end of this generation. Will be doing better than the Xbox One. Will be the best-selling Xbox console, and that will mean that the entire narrative that we had from the beginning of this generation, where first-party games are the things that sell consoles, will be shattered. And we're already seeing those numbers because we've seen a lot of numbers throughout this generation with all of the court stuff going on, with the battle with the Activisions and the acquisitions overall, that the percentage of gamers, even on the PlayStation side of things, that actually pick up consoles to play first-party games is very small compared to the people that pick up these consoles to play everything else, to play with their friends, to play a single game, maybe just like a Call of Duty or something. And we will definitely see that play out, especially because of that low entry with the Series S, when you're getting games like Call of Duty at 120 frames per second and you're getting access to all of Xbox Game Pass. So just some interesting stuff here on the sales numbers that I did want to point out. Now, when it comes to upcoming showcases, as we know, Xbox attends Tokyo Game Show. I mean, I think honestly it's a must for them to always attend if they want to try to grow in Japan, and they have been going to it. And now we know kind of some of the other companies plus Xbox that are going to be showing up here. It is going to be a massive show. They say this is the biggest ever Tokyo Game Show. Now we have, these are the companies that will be going. So it says here, the biggest highlights for the list of video game companies attending Tokyo Game Show include Xbox, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Koei Tecmo, Konami, Level 5, Hoyoverse, Square Enix, Sega Atlas, Arc System Works, Playism, Kemco, Google Play, and then there's going to be many more. Again, a massive show. And this show is going to be taking place September 21st, 2023 until September 24th, 2023. And it will also be, there'll be a business day and a public day. So I'm pretty excited for the show to see what Xbox does. They usually come out and they focus obviously on the Japanese market, on the Asian market, to try to get people to want to sign up and play games within Xbox Game Pass. We know with all the stuff like upcoming Persona 3 Reload, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, the brand new game that got announced at the Xbox Showcase, Metaphor ReFantazio from Atlas. So that all these games, maybe Xbox will actually have more information and show them off at their showcase at the Tokyo Game Show. And this is always a very, very important show for them if they want to be able to grow there, especially with games like Persona that are now available on Game Pass through cloud streaming. One of the things that I've always said that I'm interested in trying to figure out is how many people in Japan are actually using Game Pass and how many people are using xCloud and Xbox Cloud Gaming compared to how many people are just downloading games natively who are actually subscribed to the service. We saw the numbers come out that in South Korea, 1 in 3 people solely use Xbox Cloud Gaming. And I feel like those numbers would be similar in Japan, people playing it on their phones, people playing it on handhelds. Now, when it comes to consoles, we've heard rumors nonstop about the PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 5 Pro, a PlayStation 5 Slim, a PlayStation 5 without a disc drive, or just getting rid of the disc version and then having a disc drive on the side and only having the digital version available. All of that type of stuff. We've also saw the announcement of Project Q, which is going to be that handheld that you can remote play your PS5. You're going to be using it at home. And it has basically looks like just a dual sense that was split in half with a screen in the middle. We have a bit of information here on some of the stuff that could be coming out and the costing of all of this. It says here, Sony is expected to release a PlayStation 5 Slim later this year, priced at $399, $400, and that the Project Q could cost less than $300. Now, this was from a document that was released as a part of the FTC versus Microsoft trial. And here is what it says. It says, Microsoft attempts to convince Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley that the Nintendo Switch should be considered in the same market as the Xbox Series consoles and the PlayStation 5, an argument it believes boosts the image of Xbox as losing the console war in third place. Its final sentence in the paragraph that's sure to ruffle Sony bosses Jim Ryan's feathers, as it not only outs the long-rumored existence of a PlayStation 5 Slim, but its price too. It says, PlayStation likewise sells a less expensive digital edition for $399 and is expected to release a PlayStation 5 Slim later this year at the same reduced price point. So there you have it. They're putting here in the documents, at least they believe that PlayStation is expected to be releasing this PlayStation 5 Slim. And this is something I do see coming. I mean, you look currently at the PS5 itself. I have it back there. Can't see it obviously because of the background, but it is gargantuan. It is ugly. And it is a console that is the biggest one. Like, it was bigger than the PS3 at launch. It was bigger than the OG VCR Xbox One. I have actually a picture on my Twitter with my PS5 on top of my Xbox One. I was just like, wow, this thing is actually much bigger than it. And it's just not a very well-designed console, in my opinion, with the stand and everything like that. So a slim version, to me, now with the supply being there, they're not worried about having to reach the demand for this console. It's costing less to make it. It just makes so much sense. And I think it would be very, very appealing, not only for new people jumping in to the PlayStation ecosystem, but for people like myself who in a heartbeat would sell off that big original PS5 and go out and buy a PS5 Slim to replace it. I really hope that happens. I'm actually far more interested in a PlayStation 5 Slim than a PlayStation 5 Pro. With the amount that I actually use my PS5, I'd much rather just get a Slim. So I hope that is actually announced. Now, when it comes to Project Q, this is something I'm not very interested in. Just a device to play at your house wirelessly or mobile, rather than using your PS5 on your big screen TV. I don't really know why I would want to do that. It's the same kind of thing with remote play overall. I don't really use remote play very much for Xbox or for PS5 currently. I use my Steam Deck, but that's a different experience. I mean, it's a full PC handheld, and I'm usually using that like laying in bed or something. But Project Q, I don't think I would ever voluntarily pick that thing up and play that versus playing my PS5. And we are now seeing that the price point of this is about under $300. It says here that Microsoft says further down that Sony is also anticipated to release a handheld version of the PlayStation 5 later this year for under $300. Now, the question I have, is this true? Do they actually know? And secondly, if this were to release at $299, will people pick this up? I feel like $299 is too high of a price for Project Q. I feel like this would be perfect right in the wheelhouse of $199. I feel like any more than $199, it will be a hard push on consumers, especially because you need your PS5 with you to be able to actually stream these games while you're at home. You're not taking this on the go with you. You're not going on the bus, the train, the plane, or whatever it is. It's literally just at home, where most people would probably be like, well, I'll just play my PS5 rather than picking this up. So we'll see what happens. And I'm very interested in like how good the screen does look and how it functions, how it feels in your hands, and how close it resembles a DualSense. But overall, I mean, if it's $299, I think that will be a hard push on to consumers. So we got some info here on pricing and numbers and everything, and the PS5 Slim, which I do actually hope gets announced and does come out. Now, 10 things off, let's talk about the company Nintendo that isn't a part of the console wars, I guess, with the Xbox and PlayStation, because the judge and PlayStation have said so, which is absurd. But it is getting to the end of the Nintendo Switch. I love my Nintendo Switch. I'm not going to lie. I play that thing all the time with like playing Zelda right now. It's great, but it's just very underpowered. You could sit there when you're playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and imagine what they could do with that game on a more powerful console. And I think it looks pretty good, even on the current Switch, but just how much better it would look. And I think we're going to be getting a Switch 2 relatively soon. And now there is a rumor going around that a Switch 2 dev kit has been leaked. Now it says here, there's always rumors about the Switch 2 so definitely take this with a grain of salt. But this comes from this Twitter account here. Please, a Spanish Twitter account. And it says here, the Nintendo Switch 2 dev kit leaker seems to be well known source from the past, so they've gone stuff right before, I believe. And it says that their bold claim is that a Spanish game studio currently has a Switch 2 development kit in their possession, and may have concluded that the studio in question must be Madrid's Mercury Steam. Now, Mercury Steam, these are the games that they have worked on. Metroid Dread, fantastic game. Space Lords, never played that one, but this is the company they're saying currently right now has a Nintendo Switch 2 dev kit, meaning that if this is true, that there's a chance that we're going to be getting an announcement and a release of the Nintendo Switch 2 relatively soon, maybe by the end of the year, early next year, and then maybe like a release, I would predict, in March of 2024, kind of similar to what they did with the original Nintendo Switch. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they gave us a shocking announcement about the Switch 2 coming out, and then it comes out in March of 2024 and they release it with a big game. I don't know. I'm still holding out hopes for Metroid Prime 4, which to me sounds like that thing is never coming up, but maybe they're holding it back to release with the next Nintendo Switch. Who knows? But another thing to point out here is that a second source, YouTuber behind the game, says they have also corroborated Nash Weedle's claim. So I hope the Switch 2 is on its way. I hope it is closer to what we have with maybe the Steam Deck style of stuff, like maybe closer along those lines. Probably won't be nearly as powerful as that stuff because they still got to hit that price point of, I would say, a $399 max. But either way, it will be a significant upgrade over the current Nintendo Switch. And the screen obviously is going to be a big thing. Hoping they do go with OLED on it, because I do have the OLED Switch and it is a world of difference compared to the original Nintendo Switch. And maybe they will introduce some more things closer to what Game Pass kind of has, maybe some more subscription stuff to try to get into that realm of gaming, because as we know, Nintendo is always a generation behind PlayStation and Nintendo and Xbox. So maybe this is where we see Nintendo kind of jump more into better online services, better subscription services and stuff like that. But I will leave the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.